And now to present our Outstanding Economic Educator of the Year, I would like to change the mic with Mr. John Curdle from James Madison.
So I wrote an introduction, and I stole an idea from one of my students at James Madison, who, when giving a presentation, used his cell phone. And I thought, oh, that's really creative. And I'm realizing now that this is probably not a good decision for me. It was a good decision for them, but it's a little small. So maybe they had a bigger phone. Hey, there we go. Yeah, need to get some readers. So, certainly not least here, we'd like to recognize our Outstanding Economic Educator for 2019. Each year, VCEE recognizes one educator who has a sustained history of commitment to economic education and financial education with the students in their classroom. And it is certainly an honor and a privilege to represent the Virginia Council on Economic Education, but especially the James Madison Center for Economic Education. We all really care a great deal about our winner, and she just means the world to us. So I kind of want to say what I said when judging happened, and I'm supposed to be brief. I know I'm supposed to be brief, but just let me tell you a little bit about our Andrea. So the greatest measure of a person's character is seeing how they inspire others. And throughout her career, Andrea has been an inspiration to all of her students. Every year at James Madison, we have a market day. We call it the Gem Fair. And every year, Andrea's students are the most prepared. They are the most determined. They're the most energetic. They are some of the most well-behaved. And they are definitely the most entrepreneurial and kind of market savvy of the students. And if we were just looking at the inspiration that she is to her students, that alone would be enough to garner her acknowledgement today. But she is not just an inspiration to her students. Andrea has been an inspiration to teachers in the Rockingham community and throughout the Valley throughout her career. And I'm just going to tell you two quick examples from this semester alone of how much of an inspiration Andrea has been to fellow teachers. Earlier this semester, I was dropping my kids off at their school, and when I was leaving, the principal pulled me off to the side. And my initial reaction was, what does my son do? And so, fortunately, it was not that. The principal had actually taught with Andrea a number of years ago and had said that she saw the fire that Andrea had instilled in her students, that love of economics, of entrepreneurship, of personal finance that Andrea instilled in her students. And she wanted to bring that to her school. And so she started to talk to me about how can we do what Andrea did. Not what the JMU Center, not what VCEE had done. She said, how can we bring what Andrea did to this school? So that's the first example. That was a teacher from years ago that is now an administrator that wants to bring the same stuff that Andrea has been doing to their school. The beginning of this semester, I had a teacher at a separate elementary school reach out to me through an email and said, hey, my daughter participated in this mini economy club, and they went to Gem Fair. And she said, and Miss Nolly, my daughter loved what Miss Nolly did in that club. And she said, I want to do that here. And this was a couple of years ago that her daughter had graduated from that school. And so she said, can we work together to do something like that? I said, hey, we can work together, but I got a better idea. Why don't we reach out to Andrea? And without even thinking about it, Andrea jumped in and gave us all of her material that she uses and really helped that teacher, because throughout the years she has been a teacher trainer for us at JMU as well. She stepped right into that role of training that teacher. And I was telling Andrea about this earlier. That club started off as a once a week, every Wednesday club. And they picked the students that are the most at risk at that school. And those kids have flourished with this club. And they have flourished so much so that that school is actually expanding the club. And we're going to go ahead and add another version of the club every Friday morning. So I'll be going there in a couple of weeks every Friday morning, kind of helping to start it. But really, it's the teacher and the work that Andrea has done with this teacher that is living on in a completely different school. And so she has done that throughout her career. She has been an inspiration to all of us. And so she is very, very, very deserving of this award. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to your 2019 Outstanding Economic Educator for the state of Virginia, Andrea Nalli.
I've had a bit of laryngitis, so I'm hoping that you can hear. So it is truly an honor to be recognized as the Economics Educator of the Year for the state of Virginia. I'm grateful that I was allowed to bring my husband, Curtis, my mother, Norma Gardner, and my principal, Janice Churchill, as guests. I'm currently working as an elementary school library teacher for Harrisonburg City Public Schools, and I'm in my 40th year of serving in public education. I have spent 24 years teaching 4th and 5th grade, 1 year of 7th grade, which was enough. And the last 15 years I have spent as a teaching librarian. So I will retire at the end of this school year and feel like this award is icing on the cake. Unlike the students in the state of Virginia today, economics was brought to me as a formal topic at Bridgewater College. And I had George Fitchett as a professor. I was scared of this class. Most classes at Bridgewater are small, but not this general ed requirement, which had about 150 students. George Fitchett would seat us alphabetically, and my name fell in the middle of the alphabet, and I only imagined 75 students in front of me that would distract me. So I told a white lie that I had trouble seeing the board, and I needed to be near the front. So he put me right by his overhead projector, and he placed a cartoon each time we had a class, and I did learn to love economics through that professor. So in 1997, after years of teaching, the Yes Mini Society was brought to Harrisonburg, and I was in one of the first groups who took that workshop and conducted my first mini society. And then in 1998, Martha Hopkins launched the Global Entrepreneurship Marketplace, and my students loved that experience as well. So it was definitely my intention to continue offering mini society to my students. They loved the experience, from our decision making and classroom markets to the field trip to James Madison University and the Gem Fair. Excuse me. Soon after that, Bill Wood approached me and asked if I would consider teaching a lesson in economics that would be videoed and shared throughout the state with teachers who instructed the economic standards of learning. I taught a lesson that Bill had created on federal, state, and local taxes. And I was amazed at how excited my 5th graders became as they had the opportunity to role play members of city council and decide how money should be allocated. Could they get a new park, an additional policeman, a new fire truck, while not wanting to raise taxes? Students had the opportunity to voice services that were important to them, and they didn't always agree. The film had its debut at Court Square Theater in downtown Harrisonburg, and even though the students who were in the film had moved on to middle school, many returned to see themselves on the big screen, and it was just a fabulous experience for all of those students. Then in the spring of 2001, Martha Hopkins asked if I would consider being a trainer of teachers for Mini Society. To do this, I needed to fly to Los Angeles to attend a 3-day workshop conducted by the creator of Mini Society, Marilyn Kurelski. Now this was very exciting, but also a bit daunting. I was assured every detail would be taken care of. As an educator who was happy to receive a new pen, a new folder, a new pack of sticky notes at a conference, it was quite different to be picked up by a chauffeur who drove me to the Ritz-Carlton by the Santa Monica Yacht Club. I was welcomed by a calling card and seized chocolates on the desk of my room. Before attending a single session, I knew this was unlike any workshop I had ever experienced. Marilyn Kurelski's passion for Mini Society was passed on to each of us. Several years later, I attended a second Train the Trainer workshop, this time with Martha Hopkins and Lynn Stover in Chicago. So after that first workshop, I became part of a team who trained local teachers to use mini-society in their classrooms through the Center for Economic Education at JMU. Martha Hopkins brought the wonderful curriculum and songs she developed. I brought the practical piece by using it in my elementary classroom each year. Lynn Stover had experience with middle school and gifted education and shared her marvelous wit and humor. Bill Wood shared his expertise in economics and made the concepts come to life with local examples we could all relate to. The four of us trained many teachers in the Shenandoah Valley and even reached some teachers on the other side of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Martha retired to Florida, and Lynn became the new teacher consultant. And while missing Martha, the three of us continued offering trainings in the summer. So why commit to this program for decades? Well, this program has made a difference in the lives of my students and the students of teachers that I've helped to train. Students look at mini-society as a real-life experience, earning money, saving, spending, creating a business that is profitable or not, pricing products, possibly working with a business partner who shares in the workload or doesn't. Each mini-society is unique in the decisions that are made by the group and by each individual. A recent statistic of the percentage of English language learners in the Harrisonburg City School Division is 44.6%, and the only Virginia city with a higher percentage is Manassas City at 48.9%. It takes about 5 years for students to acquire the language skills they need to be successful, especially on standardized tests. But these students understand economics early on: scarcity, needs, wants, earning and saving, buying and selling, and opportunity costs. I could give many examples of students who are new arrivals to the United States with minimum language skills, but could grasp the idea of creating a business and working towards a profit. One example I will give is Anatoly from Russia and Geraldo from Bolivia. Both barely spoke English and did not understand each other's native language, but they were very excited to create a business together and acquired enough English skills to work as partners and conduct markets. They were successful. When I left the classroom to become a librarian, I wasn't certain how I would continue to conduct many societies. Then I decided, with the support of my administration, to offer Mini Society as an after-school club. We offer it to grades 3, 4, and 5. Another person on my staff who had been trained helped me have 2 after-school groups. What is unique about having an after-school club rather than a classroom Mini Society is that students can sign up multiple times, and they do. Some take Mini Society. All 3 years, they are eligible. Last week, I was advertising that Mini Society would begin the first week of December. I asked 4th and 5th graders who had previously experienced Mini Society if they planned to apply again this year. And when some raised their hands, I asked why. Someone answered that they were allowed to make decisions. Another student said it was like real life. The answer I heard most was that it was fun. We accept 45 students in the after-school program. I had students enter the school building in August and come to the library to let me know what product they were planning to make for the next Mini Society. And then they would ask, and when will it begin? Monday of this past week, I began accepting applications. I received 29 on the first day, 14 on the second day, and as of Wednesday at 8 a.m., I had to create a waiting list because the 45 positions had been filled. Former students returned to let you know how Mini Society benefit them. Recently, a student told me she applied to be treasurer of her middle school club, and she could write on her application that she had been a treasurer for Mini Society. She got the job. Another student had really struggled with academics and self-esteem, but really shined in Mini Society. She's in college studying fashion merchandising. A neighbor who recently participated in Mini Society decided she wanted to consider offering a recycling business to our neighborhood. She came to my house to conduct a market survey. After taking all things into consideration, she decided it would not be something she would undertake. But how proud her parents and I were of the effort she made to figure that out. And speaking of neighbors, Anatoly drove through our neighborhood in his bright yellow Corvette and stopped to chat. He was working for a construction company and was interested in dating the daughter of one of my neighbors. I've not seen his car around recently, and while he possibly has not been successful with his girlfriend, I feel confident he is successful in other ways. Another program I participate in is Reading Makes Sense, a financial literacy reading program sponsored by Virginia 529 College Savings Plan. My library has received numerous outstanding books with an economics theme through this program. I have had one lucky participant's name drawn to win $529 in her college account. I thank Lynn Stover for her work with this program and her creative lesson plans. I regret she's unable to be here today. I just attended a session she gave 2 weeks ago at the conference for the Virginia Association of School Librarians. Lynn is always entertaining as well as informative and a wonderful friend. In closing, I want to thank Bill Wood, Lynn Stover, and John Krugel for the nomination from the Center of Economic Education at James Madison University. I also want to thank Bill, Martha Hopkins, and Lynn for reaching out to me and including me in this awesome team of educators. I appreciate my principal, Janice Churchill, for her continued support. And lastly, I want to thank the Virginia Council for Economic Education for this wonderful award and the opportunity to share my story.